Well, I'm going to present some samples today from a book I put together called Shakespeare. It's got pictures of both of us, and we look very much alike. And in fact, we go back quite a while. I'm a time traveler. I was William's, or Will, he likes to call himself Will in these poems. I was Will's classmate at Stratford High back in the 70s. I'm talking about the 1570s. We'd usually get done with our Latin homework before the rest of the boys, and we'd spend the time exchanging poems. The teachers didn't seem to mind, or they pretended not to notice. What he did was, in this book, he wrote 154 sonnets, which is to say short 14-line poems. Now, when you read them all together, it looks like, it feels like, and I think it is, a diary journal. It's a diary in poems. But what I do in my book is I have put them in alternation. He writes me a poem, and I, as his TV talk host, write a reply, and we exchange our sonnets before the program. So when the talk show begins, he'll read his sonnet aloud, and I will read my reply. And that's the way the talk show goes on when we perform on TV. We do that 154 times, and in the 15 minutes or so that I have, we can barely get started, but we will do that. I'm not going to begin with Sonnet 1. I think I'd rather begin with Sonnet 3 because it's just a little clearer. The fact is, though, let me make one thing very clear at the outset. These sonnets are a lot easier to understand than you might think, because Shakespeare, although the language is old-fashioned, likes to say the same thing many times, and you will experience that very shortly. Here then is Sonnet number 3 by Shakespeare. Look in thy glass, and tell the face thou viewest, now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair, if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world, unbless some mother. For where is she so fair, whose uneared womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry? Or who is he so fond will be the tomb of his self-love to stop posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she in thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou through windows of thine eyes shalt see, despite of wrinkles, this thy golden time. But if thou live remembered not to be, die single, and thine image dies with thee. So what he's saying is, pay it forward. Pay it forward. You are so beautiful. You should make some copies of yourself, and do it right away. Don't just sit around. Don't unbless some mother. Don't make some poor woman unhappy that you're not marrying her daughter, and you and the daughter aren't having kids. Okay? Do something about this right now. Here's my reply to that. One might have thought that we were listening to mere entreaty writing to Narcissus. Remember the guy who was so in love with himself that he fell in love with his image reflected in a lake and fell in? The forfeiture of image is a thing to fear. A fond posterity will miss us that might have loved our mirror picture. So ignored nymph Echo fitly pleaded with the me admirer who dismissed her woe. Cries cold reverberation into myth belied by wailing for his icy eyes. The lake where he had stared is like a glass, where dumbly summons in a brighter guise a chill rigidity, a sand morass, mimetic rhetoric, a chidden charm, betrayal glacial, guarded, hidden harm. Okay, Shakespeare tells his boyfriend to go get married and have a child, pay it forward, and do it now. That couldn't be plainer. Let's now go back a couple of shows to Sonnet 1, where the talk show program and the book began. The fairest From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. But as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feed'st thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only heralds to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl makest waste in niggarding, that is, being a miser. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. So, he says, from fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. So he's equating his boyfriend with a beautiful rose, and he calls this boyfriend the world's fresh ornament and only herald to the gaudy spring, the only rose that's fit to be the announcer of a springtime full of roses, of which he is the best. I'll just take a break from reciting. I'll show you the cover of the book. You want to see? It's called Shakespeare, and we look very much alike. Do you not think? Shakespeare. He took off that ruff for once. It was a hot day like today, and he wore an open-collared shirt, the same as mine. Here's my reply then. The beauty rose? A man, remarkable. Another man is telling him that he had best beget, lest love might die with full assent unrealized. A penury. Though cloaked in seeming riches, if self-prized, you nothing sowed, lived unproductively, regardless of the offspring dreamed, despised as barren death's own narrow home you'd be. Who doesn't wish to give, but shyly keeps, the miser, what is in him to bestow, in unawakened enervation sleeps, that will not let the eye or others grow. For love must lend, remain neglectful of the giving wisdom, and you'll never love. Sonnet 2. Thank you. In Sonnet 2, he's predicting what his boyfriend is going to feel like when he's 40 years old and doesn't have any kids. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery, so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes, were an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. How much more praise deserved thy beauty's use, if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count, and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be new made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feelst it cold. You notice I like to conduct when I recite. There are 5 beats per line, and I want everybody to hear that. When Shakespeare's plays are performed, also, he writes in 5-beat lines, and you've got to be able to hear all the beats in all the lines. This has never happened to me in my life so far, but I'm 75 and I have hope. And here's my reply as a loyal talk show host, interested always in everything Will has to say, even if he's said it a couple of times already. Though here the lesson barely differs from the earlier we heard, first metaphor from rose new altered, having now become a money hunger emblem, that is, filling his accounts, being solvent, having made the right investment. How much more warm, wonderful, the final line's relief, the bland cash calculations being done. recalling sap in spring, and branching leaf, well heated by the propagating sun. The parable of talents left me cold. Investment, let it feel more genitive, more handsome, gladder spending than the gold is laying out what heart blood fain would give. New manned by view of upright cedar tree, that rising youth will let you heightened see. Yeah, your kids will be perhaps taller than you. I'm the tallest one so far in my family. So, we read number 3 already. We'll try number 4. 4 is a lot of fun. Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing but doth lend. And being frank, she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the bounteous largesse given thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self dost deceive. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee, which used lives the executor to be. Okay, he's trafficking with himself alone, and this bothers Shakespeare, and here's my reply about that. Executor and executioner, bequest or death, one cannot help but choose. You've heard that rule before, but we prefer to rail relentless, let you not refuse. Your venture capital will gain no wage if not invested. Capital offense. So mortgage assets that by mortal gauge earned profit early may reward good sense. A self-regarding passion merely means the bills that bear your image cannot pay. Who proudly in the dreaming mirror preens will find his mintage melted quite away. Be shamed who thus can liquidate accounts, as income dwindles, debt unpaid yet mounts. So you see, a self-absorbed person, very egotistical and absorbed only in himself and, so to speak, trafficking only with himself in love, is a person who finds his mintage melted quite away and his accounts soon liquidated. I think you understand what I'm getting at here, and maybe, what do you think? Do I have time for one more, would you suppose? Yes. This is fun. He's decided to up the ante. He's going to tell his boyfriend not just to have kids, but to have at least 10 of them. Then let not winter's ragged hand deface in thee, sweet summer, ere thou be distilled. Make some sweet vial, treasure thou some place with beauty's treasure ere it be self-killed. That use is not forbidden usury, which happies those that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier, be it 10 for 1. 10 times thyself were happier than thou art, if 10 of thine 10 times refigured thee. Then what could death do if thou shouldst depart, leaving thee living in posterity? Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair to be death's conquest and make worms thine heir. And here's my polite talk show host reply. 10 children, quite an order. How shall we regard this unrelenting sermon urge? It's not too foreign to the likes of me, who with a singer's lyring drive would merge. I want to copy writers whom I love, and pleased would be their minds to multiply. Let in my lines appear the image of the one who shines stars abiding in the sky. 10 children, books. When one this meaning picks, that would indeed be fine, or many more, each mirroring in doubled picture mix the one who writes and him that wrote before. Spry scions, imaged multiplicities, abundant sons of wonder, young one sees. The point here, and these will be my last words, is that if instead of having 10 children, I propose to write 10 books. Thank you so much. Very good. I like songs of the Renaissance, and I don't just like to let them be. My favorite thing is to add to them. So what I'd like to do is start with one of the best known Renaissance songs. In fact, it's so well known you probably didn't know it was a Renaissance song. How about Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes? How many people know that? Wonderful. Would you sing it along with me, please? There's only one verse of it that's really well known, though Ben Jonson, Shakespeare's acquaintance, wrote 2 verses. I'll sing with you, I hope, the first verse, and then I will sing the 2 that I wrote to go with it, okay? Drink to me only with thine eyes, and I will pledge with mine. Or leave a kiss within the cup, and I'll not ask for wine. The thirst that from the soul doth rise, doth ask a drink divine. But could I of Jove's nectar sip, I would not change with thine. Speak to me only with thy smile, and I with mine reply. Higher becomes my heartbeat while I see thy sparkling eye. The mind that likes to guess thy thought will lead in dreams awake. Yet were I now to heaven brought, to the lesser blessing make. A goblet had I shown to thee, a golden vessel pure. By kissing this you granted me what bliss would long endure. The grace that kindly deed endued my body turned to light. Nightingale, I in lunar mood will laud thee all the night. It's one of my favorite songs. I think I'll get the fiddle for this because it's fun to play too. There is a lady sweet and kind, was never face so pleased to my mind. I did but see her passing by, and yet I love her till I die. Her sweet behavior and winning looks would make a lawyer burn his books. I touched her not, alas not I, and yet I love her till I die. Cupid is winged and doth range, her country so my love doth change. But change the earth or change the
sky. Still I will love her till I die. Should I remain confined here so long as he was in his sphere, I to request and she to deny, still I will love her till I die.
I just love that song. That was written by Thomas Ford. The first one was, of course, by Ben Jonson. And now I'd like to do one that nobody knows who the author of the music was, but it's often set to Shakespeare's song, Who is Sylvia? You know that? Sing it with me if you do.
Who is Sylvia? What is she that all our twains demand her? Holy fair and wise is she, the earth lent her that she might admired be. Is she kind? Is she is fair? For beauty loves the kindness. Love doth to her eyes repair, to help him of his blindness, and being helped inhabits there. Then to Sylvia let us sing, for Sylvia is his telling. She excels each mortal thing, upon the dollar dwelling. To her let us garlands bring.
That is such a fun tune that I didn't want to just leave it. It's only 3 stanzas. I wrote another song with my own words with that tune, and it's called, whoa, just a minute, I'll have it. First wind of morning come to me. This is based on a belief told to me by my friend from Pakistan that the people in that area believe the first wind of the morning draws the flower's colors back into its petals from where they had sunk down into the stem or even into the ground during the night. So here then is my continuation of the Shakespeare tradition of Who is Sylvia? First wind of morning come to me. Sunlight must take its time, I know. Wrapped in milky heaven glow, dream trapped the air weighs heavily. The leaves don't move, the day can't grow. First wind of morning, don't delay. Thirsting the poet's loath to wait. Slow the time when life is late. Let me beg your veil away. Let woken souls shine roseate. First wind of morning, early rays gleaming, let buds foresee their fate, that in blooms will jubilate, each one made free and fragrant praise the grant of their enchanted state. First wind of morn from humankind, darkness remove of nightly shade. In the yards may light unlaid, peace welling high and dancing find fulfillment by the wind breath swayed. First wind of morn who herald light, radiant pinions wide extend. Gabriel, our angel friend, aid us from out the boundless height, and grace from eyes of Maker send. First wind of morn, your loving hands onto the cheeks of worried world lay, our care away be hurled. Let the unseen who understands reveal his name in heaven impearled. There's a rumor that it's rather hot out today. I'll take a deep breath and rest myself for the final song. Here what I've done is I've taken, once again, a Renaissance favorite of mine. This one is by John Doland. He's the one who wrote There Is a Lady Sweet and Kind. John Doland is spelled with a W, but they used to write Roland with a W in that time too. And he had a motto he gave to himself because he was such a gloomy guy. His motto was, Semper dolent, semper dolens. Ever dolent, ever grieving. But the fact is that although he is gloomy at times, he can be rather jolly. And in this tune, as also in There Is a Lady Sweet and Kind, I find a good bit of wit.
Away with these self-loving lads whom Cupid's arrow never glads. Away with those who sigh and weep in love of them that lie and sleep. For Cupid is a meadow god and forceth none to kiss the rod. God Cupid's shaft, like destiny, does either good or ill decree. Desert is born out of his bow, reward upon his feet doth go. What fools are they that have not known that love looks no loss but his own? My songs were made in Cynthia's praise. I wear her rings on holidays. On every tree I write her name, and every day I read the same. Where honor Cupid's rival is, there miracles are seen of his. Should Cynthia crave her ring of me, I blot her name out of the tree. If doubts do darken things held dear, then welfare nothing once a year. For many run, but one doth win. Fools only hedge the cuckoo in. That worth which worthiness should move is love, which is the bow of love. And love as well the foster can as can the mighty noble man. Sweet saint, although you worthy be, yet without love not worth to me.
And I will conclude by writing my supplement. It's in the same meter, same rhyme scheme, and I hope you'll think it's just as good. For many run, but one doth win. To racing love may seem akin. If it by rivals thorned should be, for winner leaves of laurel tree. Should Cynthia turn her head away, don't waste on her another day. Her name he's carved on many trees, yet rarely known a moment's ease. From doubt will serpent murmurs come, they're sounding out his halidom. Or rather say, they drown it out, the demon's tone is loud, thou lout. He's therefore giving notice now, to loyalty's requirements bow. Or Cindy, I will part from you, for Cupid's dart is dipped in rue, which venomed envy might beget, that will the heavy heart beset. His faith he has in honor placed, yet Cupid's not with honor graced. Beyond the law his whim will reach, whom it were futile to impeach. When we to love our dear agree,
we well may wounded be. If many run but one doth win, the once defeated may begin in blessed poetic realm to vie for favor of a strength on high. Then heart in a rooted marvel, you with lyric garlands will bestrew.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.